So welcome everybody, my name is Paul. I'm a realtor in the western part of Virginia in the Shenandoah Valley. And today I'm going to talk to you about all the different people that are involved in a real estate transaction. A lot of people do not really understand just how many people get involved when a real estate transaction happens. So I want to tell you, but I got a little bit of a list here and I'll share it with you here. For example, let's say there may be several buyers. If you're buying with your spouse, for example, or some other partnership or some kind, now we have two people who are buying, and that means that there's at least two people buying and one person who's selling. There also could be two people on the seller side. Now each of those people or the combination will have an attorney. So another area that a lot of people don't understand is the whole appraisal process. If you want to get a loan, that's another person that's going to be involved. You're going to have a loan officer. There are people who are mortgage brokers, and they'll connect you with other financial institutions, okay? So that's another person that might be a mediator between you and the bank. So you have that combination. Now, the bank wants to invest in the property. Let's say it's a $300,000 property, and you're putting 20% down, 15%, or let's say 20% is like 60,000 something. So let's say you put down some money and the balance is retained and given you a loan by the bank. Now the bank wants to secure its transaction, so they're going to go and have an appraiser come out to your property and say, look, is this property really worth the money that we're loaning on? So that brings in another person, and this person in appraisal in Virginia has to be a professional. They have to be trained and everything and certified, and they go out and try to estimate the real value of property, and they base their appraisal on market conditions and so on. Now, an appraisal can be debated. If it comes back a little low, and the bank says, hey, you know, we don't want to loan you that much money because the appraisal came in too low, then you can contest it. But basically, they're professionals. In the real estate industry, everybody wants to have no problems, okay? We want to price the property as a realtor, as a seller agent. We want to price the property realistically. We're not going to try to overdo it and ask some crazy amount of money because we hope it's going to sell for that much money. It has to be realistic from the seller side as well. In the buyer side, they're looking, everybody wants to have an honest transaction, a win-win situation. So there's a lot of people involved, and that's what the appraisal is all about. Now, as part of that process, there are some kinds of mortgages, for example, that will ask you to do even more kinds of inspections, a little bit more, like the FHA and veterans, I believe. You can get a transaction with a mortgage company if you say, hey, look, I'm waiving all the inspections. I don't care. I'm just doing the deed here. I'll sign right off here. I'll waive it off, and I don't need the inspections. And that can happen. It does happen. If you have a really, really sophisticated buyer, or they know what they're buying, and they just say, hey, look, I can take care of it. Maybe they're a developer or something. They're buying a piece of land. They don't want all the inspections, okay? But if you're a home buyer and you want to apply for a mortgage, the bank is going to be very, very interested in knowing whether that property is worth what they're going to loan the money on. So they're going to have some inspections. In some states, there's a radon inspection. In Virginia, it costs some money. They have to be certified. They test for the radon gas. Radon, if it comes back positive, you can deal with that. There's things that ventilate the property and so on, but you just need to know. And that's a law, so you might have, if you have a chimney, you're going to have a chimney inspected. You may have a septic tank out in the countryside that might be inspected, and when the last time it was pumped out, and if it's in good shape or not. Then you might have a well. You might want to test the water, the plumbing system, see if it pumps properly and everything. So that kind of inspection. So that's why people ever wonder, why does it take so long to get a transaction together? Well, that's why, because there's so many people involved. Because if it's in a busy season, for example, when houses are selling fast, you'll find out that all the inspectors are busy, the attorney's busy, the appraisers are busy, that everybody's busy. So if you try to coordinate everything, and let's say you have 10 variables, there's 10 people involved, you can see how it can easily multiply trying to get everybody on board. And actually, smoothly enough, believe it or not, a lot of transactions are quite smooth, relatively speaking, because people know the business and they're professionals and they all try to make things happen. All the realtors know, the agents know, the mortgage people know, hey, let's, as soon as possible, let's get the things moving, the wheels got to turn, otherwise nothing's happening. So, and there's a lot of money involved, so just try to understand that if you're feeling frustrated because a deal is not closing fast enough, just realize that how many people are really involved in your transaction, and they all have schedules and needs and so on and demands, and there's only so many hours in a day. So there are things that happen spontaneously that you can't expect. Like, for example, an inspection might go wrong on one property, and then you got to have a double inspection. You got to fix the little thing and go back and so on. So try to understand that there's a lot of people involved, and your broker agent who's working on your behalf, very hardworking people. I'll tell you, the realtors don't get enough appreciation for what we really do, because there's a lot of things that we do in the background that the agents, the sellers, neither the sellers or the buyers really understand what we really do. So anyway, so I just wanted to explain to people how there is a lot of people involved in a transaction, and if you ever have any questions, feel free to call your broker or agent and say, hey, what's going on with the transaction, and they're going to be honest with you. Just be patient, because in a busy time of season, when a lot of people are involved and there's a lot of offers and everybody wants a response right away, and if you have 7 different offers on a property and they're all involved and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on with it, you can imagine how much activity is going on behind the scenes. So thanks again for listening. I appreciate all the feedback, and if you have any questions, ask your realtor, call me. I'm a scout in the western part of Virginia. I do a lot of running around and exploring the area, and I know a lot about real estate in the country area. So I appreciate your feedback. Please like and share, and if you have any comments, please leave them below, and I hope to see you in some of my other videos. So thanks again for listening.